Good evening, everyone. It is now 7 p.m. I will call to order the regular Selectmen's meeting this Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. All three selectmen are present, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from January 17th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on these minutes?
I read them earlier. I didn't see anything.
They look pretty
That
okay.
looked-
Yeah.
Did you see anything?
They look fine.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor of approving the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from January 17th, 2023, say aye. Aye. I make a motion that we approve the Board of Selectmen special meeting minutes for budget reviews from January 24th, 2022.
Aye.
No.
I mean, I'll second that. Already
We have a
voting on
motion
it.
and a second. Any discussion on those minutes?
Nope, I thought those looked good too.
Hearing none, all in favor of approving the Board of Selectmen special meeting minutes, budget reviews from January 24th, 2022, say aye. Aye. And lastly, I make a motion that we approve the special selectmen meeting for budget reviews from Thursday, January 26th, 2023.
Second.
Dottie, it's a draw. You can decide who
Doesn't
said
matter.
it first.
Doesn't matter.
One of the selectmen, we have a second. Any discussion on those minutes?
Nope.
Hearing none, all in favor of approving the Board of Selectmen special meeting minutes, budget reviews from January 26th, 2023, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Correspondence, we have Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection report. There were 158 calls for service in the town of Thompson. Of these calls, most notable were 7 accidents, 26 investigations, 1 burglary, 1 larceny, and 123 non-reportable matters. In addition, there was also 1 DUI, 7 traffic citations, and 16 written warnings. Kind of falls in line with the way it is most months. Is there any correspondence to bring before the board tonight?
I don't
You don't have.
remember anything, Ken.
Nope, nothing.
Okay. All right, the floor is open for selectmen comments at this time. Got nothing?
Lights in the park?
Lights in the park?
Yeah, they're still out.
There's. Yeah, oh, okay, all right, sorry. I didn't,
Yeah,
I
there's still-
followed up on the street lights, but I did not follow up on the park lights in the.
Yeah,
park.
the park lights are totally.
But the gazebo is lit.
That it is. I'll give you that one.
I will say that we're really missing Pete Ernst. Pete does a lot of things, and takes care of not only town hall, but the park. And, he is in Florida now, and
Oh.
we have filled in for him, but it's still not Pete. Pete is a great asset, and I miss him when he's away. Looking forward to him coming back, but I will talk to Joe Tasek,
Yes,
Public Works Director, to see if they can investigate that.
see if it's the timer off or,
I will do that first thing tomorrow. My bad. Any other selectmen comments?
just the, from the state police report.
Mhm.
I took a quick look at it. I mean, they appear to be around, but it does not appear that they're doing an awful lot of traffic enforcement. And, there was only a couple of citations, couple of warnings. We still got them going over Buckley Hill. That's down to 5 tons. If we can get them to be a little bit more of a presence, it'll be a help.
Right. No, I agree. It's just,
Numbers seem to be about the same as they usually are.
Yeah, but not on,
but Ken's saying there's not enough citations and traffic.
I feel like I've seen more, believe it or not, like parked on the side of the road, which surprised me. And I thought, oh, that's a good sign.
Right.
I mean, just for the Buckley Hill going over, and it,
Is that somebody? No, it's coming from
yeah, it's Steve's.
emergency management
Oh,
on the other side of the wall.
thank you.
So.
Okay,
All right, so just follow up on some of our agenda items from last meeting. Tim Delgado from Connecticut Deep is actually assisting in drafting the Aquatic Lake Ordinance. It eventually has to go to Deep for review, so what better place? I think that was under the suggestion of the board. So he has been working on that. We're continuing to do research on the abandoned mill property ordinance that we had discussed. Trying to see if we can solely focus on the abandoned mill properties. A work order for the streetlights on Riverside Drive has been submitted. The lease for the Thompson Historical Society has been reviewed and sent to both of you. We can discuss that. I planned on putting that on the agenda at the next month's meeting. Wanted to give you time to review
good.
it.
Yep.
For the Board of Education to review it, etc. Let's see, the continued warm weather makes my heart sing. The salt budget remains intact, as does snow overtime. So every single week I look at the 10-day forecast and I sing. Because I'm so pleased that it has stayed warm. Although Friday we did experience some issues with outages. Steve Benoit, our emergency management director, and I met with Eversource today to discuss some of the failures. The storm declaration from Eversource was never actually made. They never announced it as an action item, I guess you would say. Which meant that they didn't move into storm mode, storm preparedness. They were not treating it as a storm. However, power was fully restored within 24 hours. Steve and I discussed their slower response, in addition to the failure of the municipal hub, which gives us information on where the crews are and what outages have been repaired. And even though the last storm, it was up and running perfectly, this past storm, Steve noticed that it was not running to its capacity, and Eversource agreed, they concurred, and they are going to be looking into that issue. Did you want to say anything, Steve?
It wasn't running at all, just the
Right.
stuff I put in, entered, and they put assigned or unassigned, but they never put dispatched or anything, just
Right.
never knew where they were.
There was no communication back in the municipal hub, which is the communication line between us and Eversource,
They
so.
said, there's somebody out there coming out. I said, I know they're out here because I'm sitting with them. Yeah, so I knew before they did.
Right. I do want to give a big thanks to Quinnebog Volunteer Fire Department. They did open up the shelter for us. I spoke with Steve Boudreau at 9 o'clock that evening. He had been working, so he couldn't call me until about 9. He did have a member of the garage there for a few hours. We posted it on Winnie. If anybody was without power that night, and they needed a place to warm up, they could have gone there. To my knowledge, there were no takers, but it was there and available. And I'm so grateful for the fire departments for always stepping up to meet the needs of the town. And then lastly, an update on that stewardship permit. I had spoken with the board about the fees that we were going to have to ask the Board of Finance for, and I believe it was 22,000 and change.
Correct.
We had a meeting with Connecticut Deep, with the consultant from Lakeshore Environmental, and Deep has reduced some of our requirements for this permit, which has cut the fees in half. So we're
Okay.
now only looking at $11,580. One of the biggest things that they took off of the requirement was for the PFAS testing, and that's that chemical agent that seeps out of a lot of landfills. It's a chemical that's in a lot of the products that are produced in this country. And that testing, we only have to state that we are going to be working on a plan to test for those chemicals. So whereas Lakeshore Environmental had quoted about $7,000, they believe they'd have to start doing the testing. We don't have to do the testing yet. We just have to state in our plan that it'll be done in the future. So that was one of the biggest savings out of the 22,000. That was almost $7,000. So, so we walked away pretty happy, still upset that we have to even pay anything at all, but happy to go to the Board of Finance this month and ask for less than what we had planned to ask for. And that's all I have this time.
Just a comment on the ordinance that is being drafted. I did have a conversation with Rick Hayes last week. And he wants to be involved in that.
For the aquatic?
For aquatic, yeah,
Okay.
for he wants to be able to stay on top of that issue. So he asked that you keep him in the loop if you
absolutely.
can, yeah.
Yep.
As
I'll
much as
share with them.
possible, because that is something that he said he is really adamant he's going to stay on top of that with the.
Great, great.
Just based on your conversation about the permit for up at the transfer station. Do we know if there's anything possibly coming down the line that maybe we can just clean that up and get it out of there?
For the actual capping of the landfill?
Not the landfill.
Oh, it's the former landfill. It's not the transfer station.
No, well, there's also a lagoon up there that
Oh.
is hazardous. It's right next to the road. It's all a fenced in area
Mhm.
that goes down towards the entrance. That all came out of the mill down here
Right.
decades ago.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a whole,
Oh, I'm
Big-
sure. I
yeah,
just
the whole
never
big
never
thing on
noticed
that.
it before.
I mean, the landfill,
Can you
that
see
that
it
is,
from the road?
it's right up
lagoon?
near the road.
Right.
It's fenced in. As a matter of fact, the signs are down. We probably should get the signs back up
Mhm.
as well. You know, stay out of there. Because
Yeah.
it is a hazard. It came out of the mill.
Okay.
And like I said, that was decades ago. So actually, that's what I thought. Part of that permit
This-
was because of that lagoon being up
Right.
there.
And this
as well.
permit is only for the landfill, and it's basically stating that we will be good stewards. When we left the meeting with Connecticut Deep, we felt like it was just another fee that we were paying to say that we'd be good stewards, and there wasn't much else associated with it. And that's when we left that meeting, that's the way we felt, to be quite honest. It wasn't a great feeling.
You know, so maybe between the planner, because
Yeah.
of the mill cleanup and stuff. Maybe we could get that, see if there's any money to get that lagoon out
Yeah.
of there
Absolutely.
at all possible. I did have a question. Steve, how widespread was our outages?
Yeah, it was 1,100 at one time,
At the most.
the most.
Yeah.
But it was all like at once,
Right.
and it was cold.
Yeah, it was.
And additionally, I did want to point out that we do have some more budget meetings coming up for the town. February 15th is our next one, beginning at 3 p.m. That will be a lot of the bigger ticket items. We're going to be discussing the public works budget, the town hall budget, and capital expenses, capital expenditures. And then on February 22nd, the fire departments and EMS will be presenting their budgets, plus a few, I think we have wetlands and conservation still to present. And then it'll be finalizing the budget in those last few days of February, getting ready to present to the town on March 2nd. And that'll be at the auditorium at the school. So,
Just one quick thing that
Mhm.
just popped into my head,
Yep.
because OEMS was meeting, Putnam was meeting the night of our town meeting up at the school. Whatever came of that?
what
'Cause-
was it? At the school?
Putnam EMS
Yeah,
At the
was meeting?
school?
No,
no, we were at the school for a town meeting.
Oh,
Remember that you weren't going to attend.
right,
So I just wondered if anything came out of that, especially with that situation where
With
the,
State Kimball Hospital.
yeah, and not having a transport service. Where
It was-
we covered,
It was
it was
discussed.
discussed.
It was discussed, and at this point, the same situation has not happened again, from what I understand, so.
well,
KB
now
has
they
been-
have a 24-hour service. Before they didn't.
Well, they had,
They had a service from 8 to 5
oh, is that what it was for
Yes.
KB? Okay,
for the first week.
yeah.
Until they could get something in place to have a full-time service.
Mhm.
So, but from what I understand, now they have a 24/7
Okay,
service.
good. I mean, an emergency will always come up at some point.
Could.
Yeah, they did
And
have an
that's the-
ambulance en route on the way to transport, a transport ambulance en route on the way
When was that?
for the incident that we're talking about at Dayton Hospital, the morning of.
No, it just left us with one ambulance because they had to transport covering both towns. That was my main concern.
That was prior to the meeting.
Correct.
That was
Yeah.
prior to the
Right.
meeting. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
that's what
they
it's
lost
talking about.
AM.
Yeah, I know. just
Yeah,
making
but they
sure.
didn't have that, they
Right.
lost their
Because we lost
transport.
No, I
AM.
knew that.
Yeah, right.
So. I just wasn't sure which ambulance you were talking about that was in. route,
KB
because
had one en route.
Putnam EMS took that call.
Correct.
So if they were en route, they didn't make it in time. So, but I wasn't at
It
that
was a
meeting
transport
and
call, that's why they had one en route. Yeah,
we have a different opinion.
no, what they went for was the hospital called 911.
Right,
They should have waited for their transport ambulance to show up,
okay,
but Putnam has an obligation to respond.
right,
So it left kind of everything up in like who. You know what I mean?
okay.
Like who should be transporting and who can transport. So it got confusing and muddy, it sounds like. But it sounds like they've cleared it. They have a service now that should be
Well, no,
responding.
that's exactly what we want.
Right,
So the billing can be done properly, you know.
Well, so that,
for those type
because the
of,
licenses, you in transporting, you gotta be,
especially when you're doing what do you call it? It's not a basic, it's a
ALS.
ALS
Yeah.
transport.
which is
So-
what that one was.
Yes,
There's billing and different things. You have to be able to bill accordingly and,
and you.
but
have-
again, it's
Right, and with
stripping of the
licenses, you
ambulance
can
in
get,
town where, you know, because they didn't have something in place at the time,
Right,
because AMR had bailed out January 1st.
I know, and that was kind of.
Yeah,
the-
that they
the
should have,
whole- The
yeah.
whole,
was the whole crutch and they should have, and the hospital knew this months in advance. So
Mm-hmm.
shame on them.
I don't know that detail, I don't,
Yeah, it was
I
announced that
didn't-
AMR was.
that's,
what's
that
being
is
said.
what's being said, but nobody wants to.
I know.
Yeah.
Any other selectmen comments at this time?
Just that when there is an Putnam EMS meeting, can we get an update afterwards at the next selectman meeting of that?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I was telling Ken before the meeting started that the next meeting I plan on having Putnam EMS here. I just got the reports from John Don Francisco this morning. For the
The
EMS
calls.
service, the calls, which January will be the first full month that. All of Putnam
Right.
EMS is under QV dispatch, so that'll be really good to have that data. And I also plan on having our director of planning and development, because she hasn't been here for a few
Oh, yeah,
meetings.
that's
To
true,
give an
that's
update
true.
on what's going on in town.
So it's a lengthy one next meeting.
Yeah, plan for a lengthy meeting. We have
Okay.
quite a few topics to undertake. So with that, any other selectmen comments? All right. So we will move on to citizen comments, agenda item 6, citizen comments. We will start with the virtual audience. Ms. Valerie Clark.
Hi, Valerie Clark, 105 Elm Road. It was interesting to hear the behind the scenes stories on the power outages. And I just wanted to reflect that given how cold and how bad the winds were for that storm, and I was watching the outages on Eversource, and we were among the top 3 or 4 towns in Connecticut with customers out. The fact that we got restored power within 22 hours was pretty impressive. It was bitter cold, but whatever had to be done to get that response, I thought it was not bad given all the circumstances. So wanted to just comment on that and whatever our emergency management folks had to do to make that happen. But, you know, certainly I would not have wanted to be on that crew out having to deal with those trees coming down left and right. They were out in the wind fixing things. So thank you.
Agreed. That was totally my first thought too, that how cold it was for the workers and the fire departments that were out putting out, and our public works guys. We went through the roster twice that night. Kept sending guys out to set up blockades, etc. So it was a long night for them. Thank you, Valerie. Any other citizen comments from the virtual audience? Any citizen comments from the live audience? All right, we will move on to the agenda items. Number 7, Mary R. Fisher Elementary School PTO request for Fill the Swing fundraiser at the transfer station March 11th and the 25th. So this is to help assist in raising funds for the playground expansion and repairs so that it will be ADA compliant, as the current playground is not. So they're asking to do a collection at the transfer station those days.
So I'll make the motion to approve it. The Phyllis.
On March 11th and 25th.
Yeah, on March as proposed. So March 11th and 25th.
Second,
Okay, motion in a second. Any discussion on this request?
Do we want to have Jessica explain to us what this is about so that we have some public
Yeah, absolutely.
information?
So, not sure how well the public is aware, but I know that our parents at Mary R. Fisher are very well aware. The first grade through fourth grade playground is currently closed. It's been closed since April of 2022 due to some safety concerns that occurred during an after-school program. It was found that there's now too many pinch points, there's too many catch points, so hoodie string, oh, I don't have any, some of those bolts that are on there now that was okay to put it together 20-something years ago are now no longer kosher, so our insurance company up at the school anyway said, we have to close it till we repair it. It is a $50,000 repair bill, based on the quote that we received from the playground company. Our superintendent has received so far to date, I believe it's $10,350 in grants. Towards that, we did put the rest of the balance in the upcoming school budget, so I'd appreciate your support on that line item. When that comes through, she also did submit a grant through T-Mobile to see if we can maybe even just make that line item out of the budget and repair it that way. PTO is really interested in doing an expansion because that playground is small for the amount of students that we do have. It's also not ADA compliant. There's access for our students with mobility issues or wheelchairs is just non-existent. So our goal is to provide an expanded playground area up where the blacktop is, which is what students are currently using for their playground now. They play on a basketball court or the soccer field. So we're looking, I believe our quote for a new playground, which would include some swings and some more age appropriate play items, which would actually expand the age of the playground to, I believe it's 15 years of age. So it would allow greater use for not only just the school, but kids throughout the entire community as well, because playground is always open. I personally see it as a community resource. It's not just a school resource. And I believe our quote was about $128,000. So we're currently, PTO's really hit the ground running. We have a couple of fundraisers going on through our students now. Throughout this year, we're going to be hosting some meals this summer, so pay attention for those. So there may be another request for a car wash or something at some point in time, but that's essentially what we're doing is we're trying to raise some funding to get the expansion going so that our students who are, not as able, they'll have a playground space that they can actually use as well.
Is the 128,000 above the $50,000?
That is completely separate.
Okay,
So the
that's what I
128 is for the expansion, the 50 is for the repairs for the current playground as is. If we were to completely nix that playground and replace it fully for what would need to be done because of the site work that needs to happen at that lower area because of the way that the grounding, when we were originally going to put in a swing project to bring that up to code, it was going to be at least another 50 grand on top of our swing costs. So that was beyond PTO capabilities at that point in time. So our goal is to at least piecemeal a couple of the bigger pieces and then kind of get it in as we can.
Is that the playground that is on the middle school side, as you pull up and go around the corner at the entrance? Or is that the one on the
No.
back side of the
So-
elementary?
The one that's on the backside of the elementary, so closer to T. The one that's on by the middle school is the kindergarten through first grade, which is seeing some significant wear because we've had classrooms of students who are not of the appropriate size for that were using that at one point in time. And it's caused some damage, so that will be probably PTO's next bigger project once this one is moving.
Thank you.
So just keep us in the loop with those fundraisers
Yeah.
that are coming through so that we can,
And the public be watching for dinners and car washes and
Candy bars,
whatever
all
else,
sorts
candy
of
bars. All right, so we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion about this request? Okay, all in favor of approving the Mary R. Fisher Elementary School PTO request to fill the swing at the for a fundraiser at the transfer station, March 11th and 25th, say aye.
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 Thank you.
All right, agenda item 8. Also Jessica. Girl Scout request. This is my favorite time of year. Girl Scout request for cookie booth fundraiser at the transfer station, April 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. So basically the entire month of April on
Yeah, I
Saturdays,
would like to steal the-
selling cookies.
You like to what?
I would like to steal it every Saturday in April is what I'm asking for.
Yeah.
My Girl Scout troop has since broken into 2 troops because my older girls decided that they wanted to nix the cutesy cookie prizes that comes with selling cookies to be able to earn more per box so they can use that more towards their programming, whether it's going to summer camp, camping trips, zip lining trips, or towards their service projects. As you know, we did the big kitchen update at the Scout Hall. So they use their funding to provide quite a bit for community service projects in town. And this is one way for that older group to be able to do that more, was to nix those prizes. And in order to do that, I had to split them into a new troop. So now I'm running 2 Girl Scout troops.
Ah.
So much.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the Girl Scout request for cookie booth fundraiser at the transfer station on April 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and the 29th. From 2 to 2:30.
And I'll second that.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion on this request?
Cookie leaders will be coming.
Yeah, make sure you send that around too.
All right, all in favor of approving the Girl Scouts request for a cookie booth fundraiser at the transfer station, basically the entire month of April on Saturdays, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you.
right, good luck. Hit me up for cookies. I don't go to the transfer station, so make sure you hit. me
Yeah,
up.
and I always look for somebody with Girl Scout cookies.
Yes.
And we've got new ones this year.
Ooh, can't wait to see those. All right, agenda item 9, appointment Trails Committee. I'm gonna mess up this name, Kevin Behold, how do you say that? Isn't it,
I don't know.
is it Eileen's grandson?
It sounds like Fio.
Behold,
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know, Marie said it.
I don't
Never
think
mind.
so.
All right,
Peugeot,
Fijol. Fijol. He put his application in. He's a 12-year resident of the town of Thompson. And he would like to be appointed to the Trails Committee. Always excited to have volunteers.
Was that a motion?
I will make the motion
Okay.
that we approve the appointment of Kevin Fijol to the Thompson Trails Committee.
And I'll second it.
Okay, motion in a second. Any discussion on this candidate? Okay, all in favor of making the appointment to the Trails Committee for Kevin Fijol, say aye.
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 All right. Any other business to bring before the committee this evening? No? Okay, me neither. We will open the floor up to citizen comments again. The floor is open to citizen comments. Anybody in the virtual audience to start? Anybody in the live audience? Okay. All right, we will move on to tax refunds.
Say none.
There are none. Oh, no, there are some. There's tax refund. There's just no comments.
She said none.
I'll have to hold you to that one.
So I make a motion that we refund the following taxpayers: David A. Duquette, $123. William T. Fisher, $61.30. Rebecca L. Hart, $589.87. Charles and Charlene Sipes, $845.05. Stephen S. Sidebottom, $46.74, and then Toyota Lease Trust, $255.96, for a grand total of $1,921.92 in tax refunds. I make that motion.
Second.
Dottie, you get the pick.
You get to pick, Dottie. Any discussion on this motion? All in favor of approving the tax refunds as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that motion passes.
Okay,
I make-
motion to adjourn.
Ken has a
Second.
motion to adjourn. Suzanne has the second. It is 7:31. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.
Okay, the